Thank you for welcoming me into your home. It's Shauna here coming at ya with a little bit of movement therapy, functional movement therapy, if you will. What you're going to need is a floor, a mat if you have one, yoga mat if you have one, maybe a bolster. I'm just going to do a very simple movement this day. It's going to help sort of set you up along our journey. So it's sort of the first muscle memory movement activity or re-education that I like to offer clients who are experiencing low back, hip pain, poor breath patterns, and poor gait patterns. All of these bad habitual patterns tend to get laid down by what happens right here in the belly, sort of the trunk of the body. This is the area that generally reacts to stress, like we're gonna curl into a ball and run away fast from the bear, or on the opposite side of things, we're gonna go after whatever it is that we're sort of excited about. They're ready to act response, as well as many other traumas that take place. The stress reflex doesn't know good, doesn't know bad, and the residual effects of stress in our lives, psychological or otherwise, has a devastating impact on our well-being, our functional ability. And so when our biomechanical makeup is compromised, all of the systems of the body, the nervous system specifically, is jeopardized as well. And not specifically, I mean, that is just one of the many major systems that are jeopardized, and all of the systems mustn't be, right? All of the systems have to work well together in order for us to function as vibrant, radiant versions of ourselves. So without any further ado, take your time coming all the way down onto your mat. This is, I refer to this practice as reclined cat-cow. That's that hatha yoga vein going through it, but it's deemed many different things in different theories and ideals in the body mechanic world. So with all that said, we're going to come all the way down into what I like to call constructive resting position. Really, this in itself is a beautiful practice. If you can get comfy and in both your mind and your body to stay here in constructive resting position where your knees are up and your feet are flat on the floor, and you've got approximately 2 fists between the knees, so about hip width distance apart. And you can also judge that by finding the hip bones. So these 2 bony prominences right here, these are the headlights, if you will, of the hips. So the headlights of the hips and the center of the knee, ideally, in most bodies, can be aligned and offer a beautiful release for the psoas, one of these deep primal muscles that holds a ton of angst and tension, chronic sort of contracted muscle tissue, which jeopardizes, as I mentioned, the ability to breathe and move freely, which is what we're after, so we can live vibrant, happy, healthy, long, high quality lives. All right. So here we are in constructive resting position. And if you can hold this position for 20-25 minutes a day, you're gonna be moving effortlessly, like walking on clouds. All right, so just taking a moment here, we really want to sense the breath. So with all the movements I'm ever going to teach you, breathing is paramount, okay? It's the panacea. Right breath is the panacea for all ailments. So just taking a moment to feel the rib cage. You can even bring your hands here by touching our bodies where we're directing our attention and our energy, it really allows for a more introspective view of what's happening. So breathing through the nostrils if it's available, and just taking a chance to feel the rib cage sort of expand as we inhale and contract as we exhale. Without any effort, without any force, just natural, spontaneous breathing, sensing and feeling. And if we're not feeling that movement of breath, just imagining we can feel the ribcage expand on the inhale and recoil on the exhale. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then we're going to take our visual eye, or our mind's eye, to the belly, and we're just going to feel the rise and fall here. Nice. And then bring your hands once again to those bony prominences on the hips. You may not feel the movement, but I want you to visualize as you inhale your pelvis sort of rocking so that the tailbone pierces into the ground. And as you exhale, you can maybe visualize and feel the pelvis rocking back and maybe the low back starting to press into the ground. So visualizing that gentle movement, that very small movement, but movement nonetheless, that's happening as you breathe in and out, creating fluidity and ease through the pelvis. And just allowing, so when we allow the breath to be full and free, it invites the rest of the body. It suggests to the rest of the body that we're a comfortable and desirable place to be, and that we can move freely. And so all the blocks and the blockages and fixations that have laid down begin to get a gentle massage. Okay, beautiful. After finding a little introspection and centering our minds and our bodies, we will begin the pendiculation or reclined cat-cow. So I'm going to go individually from corner to corner, and then we're going to bring it all together. So we're starting with this right shoulder. Actually, we're going to start with both shoulders. So both shoulders we're going to drag in towards the belly button. Both shoulders are being dragged in towards the belly button. And you can feel sort of the back body pressing into the ground. And if you bring your hands to your belly, you might notice the belly contracting here. Beautiful. Shoulders are pulling in towards the belly. All right, and then we're going to slowly drop them down to the ground. And then with great intention, we're going to press them strongly, both shoulders down into the ground, really strong. Beautiful. And then come back to neutral, float it back. Strong contraction. On the exhalation, we're going to drag both shoulders in towards the belly, contracting the front body, and flow back to neutral. As we inhale, we're going to press both shoulders strongly down into the ground, feeling between the shoulder blades starting to lift off the mat. The heart reaches up, belly fills with air. Exhale, dropping to neutral, and then pressing both shoulders down towards the belly button. Nice. A couple more times back and forth. Sensing and feeling, noticing any other sensations that come up anywhere else in the body. The lower trunk, the lower back body, the lower front body. Notice one hip compared to the other. Notice the strength in one shoulder compared to the other. Or weakness or any other sensations that come up. And just letting that wisdom, that or knowledge start to seep into the body so they can use it later on. All right, and then back to neutral. Beautiful. So we're just going to take a moment to center again. Allow Any adjustments to take place that are not feel necessary? All right, in the beginning with the hips. So we're gonna do one hip at a time. So we're gonna bring the right hip up towards the belly button and just notice, it's a very small movement, okay? But you notice the belly starting to contract when you do so. And then maybe you notice the opposite side of the upper body contracting as well. And just take a moment to relax that upper quadrant of the body. Beautiful. And then release the hip, float it to neutral. And then with great intention, I want you to press as though you're pressing right from that bony prominence of the headline of the hip, pressing it right down into the ground. Really strong. Okay, and then float it back to neutral. All right, you're going to do the same thing with the opposite side. So left headlight of the left hip is going to start pulling up and in towards the belly button. And then continuing to breathe here with this contraction engaged, I want you to imagine or sense and feel any other tensions that are creeping in, any other areas of the body that are engaging and helping. Beautiful. And then release. So you're not changing that desire to engage or help. We're just kind of sitting with it. All right, and then once again, dragging right from the headlight of the hip, pressing it strongly down into the ground. Notice the areas of the body that are contracting. Notice the areas of body that are releasing. And any other information that's coming to you. Just take time to breathe and reflect. All right, and come back to neutral. Okay, so I think we're ready for all four corners to move together. So we're going to bring both hips, headlights of both hips, and both shoulders as we exhale in towards the midline of the body. And as we inhale, we're going to press all four corners back into the ground and let the back body arch away from the ground. Okay, and we're going to continue that pendiculation, that sort of pendulum effect from tightening the front body to tightening the back body. We're going to take about, let's do it you're going to do it 5 to 8 times. And this is something that you can take with you in the morning as a morning practice to get your body ready to move and sort of re-educate the body on how to move both independently and synergistically in a healthy, functional way. Okay? So here we go. Taking a moment once again, just find some introspection. You really want to travel inwards, so closing the windows of the eyes, taking a few breath cycles, nice, easy, and slow and controlled. Sorry, not slow and controlled, but easy, like so that you are maybe feeling the texture of the breath come into the body. Maybe you're feeling the rib cage. Any one of those practices, those sort of guidances that are helpful in integrating the mind and the body. Choose whatever suits your situation. Alrighty, and on the ready, as we exhale, let's start with the exhale. We're going to press all four corners of the torso in towards the belly. Back body arches into the ground. Beautiful. You just let the head sort of dangle and hang. And then when you're ready for your inhale, you're going to press all four corners strongly down into the ground as the low back arches away from the ground. Fill the body up with your soft, supple belly here. Nice. And then on the exhale, you float it down and then strongly pull all four corners in towards the midline. Beautiful. Let it float down. All four corners press into the ground as the belly swells and you inhale. Beautiful. Once again, all four corners into the midline. And that's 3. Pressing all 4 corners into the ground on the inhale. Beautiful. Feel the back body contracting, gathering up any information that's coming your way, noticing one side to the other. Beautiful. Exhale, all 4 corners towards the midline. That's 4th and last one. As we inhale, all 4 corners into the ground, body pulls away. And on the exhale, all 4 corners towards the midline. Beautiful. Coming back to still. Beautiful. So hanging out here in constructive resting position is a beautiful end to this very simple movement practice. Once again, laying down some of the fundamental movements for independent muscle movement of the trunk, of the hips and the low back, as well as reminding the muscles how to move synergistically together. I hope this is helpful, a little exercise for you and something that you can bring into, like I mentioned, both your morning and your evening practice. Ideally, this is going to be practiced when the body is still relatively tired and fatigued, in order to sort of trick it into laying down these pathways without all of the other stimulations and ideas that sort of come into play when we're exercising for a particular purpose. So this is an opportunity to regain functional movement deep on that central nervous system level, to offer your body with optimal vitality. Okay, thanks for having me into your space, and if you have any questions, certainly comment below or shoot me a message, and I'll do my best to offer up my expert advice. Thanks for having me. Peace in.